Today's topic is to be rich, you need to buy cars for the intended use, not for a display of wealth. I have been able to buy myself 12 months of freedom just based on that one principle alone. With my cold getting worse today and the fever start to run rampant, it's probably not a wise choice for me to do a walk and talk today outside in the cold. But I still plan to impose a 25-minute recording limit. This way, I can force myself to get out of the perfectionist mindset where everything's got to be perfect, where I kept on recording, and re-recording. I want to get myself to record and say what I need to say within 25 minutes or less, edit and upload them so I can get more content out. Outside of one car that we purchased brand new back in 2018, all of our family cars have been purchased used, ranging between $2,500 all the way up to $10,000, and we paid for them in cash. And the mileage ranges between 100,000 miles all the way up as much as 147,000 miles. We were comfortable with those because they were made by Toyota, Honda, and Mazda, with the exception of one GMC. And we've been fortunate that they have been very reliable. Outside of normal wear and tear, we didn't have many major mechanical issues. By buying cars for the intended use and not for display of wealth, we have been able to put away money and let it grow in the stock market. The benefit of buying cars in the $2,500 to $10,000 range, at least for our case, is instead of paying full coverage for the car, I've been paying just POPD. And if somehow something happened and the car get into a crash, we have enough cash that we can just replace the vehicle. So we don't need to worry about paying full coverage. A full coverage ranges between, depending on the car you have, it can be $120 to $160 a month. Having just POPD, that's a fraction of a cost, $45 to $50 a month. And that difference can grow in the stock market. And because we don't have a car payment, instead of having $400 to $600 or $700 a month like most Americans have on their car payment, that same amount goes into the stock market and grow for us. Let's face it, if you buy a car for the intended use, it doesn't need to be Lexus, Mercedes, Land Rover, all these fancy name cars. What do I mean by cars with the intended use? If you're single with no kids, you don't need SUVs that can seat 7. If you live in a state or city area where you don't have many snows, you don't need a 4-wheel drive. When you buy cars for the intended use that take you from point A to point B safely and economically, then you can buy the right car for your need. If you don't have any construction work or you need to haul heavy equipment, you don't need to buy a truck. You can buy yourself a subcompact car if you're just single with no kids. And having a car that is 30 miles to the gallon versus a truck or an SUV that's 15 miles to the gallon, that's twice as many distance you can travel. And in terms of weekly, monthly costs and yearly costs, you save yourself 50% of the cost because you drive the car that is more economical in terms of miles per gallon. And that money that you save can go in the stock market and grow for you. The other advantage of buying cars with the price point and the mileage range that we have, if you ever need to resell the car, we don't lose that much in terms of depreciation. I even had one car, an Acura Integra, that I purchased for $500, that I drove back and forth to work for a good 3 to 4 years. And when I purchased a different vehicle, I sold it back to the junkyard for $500. So my return on investment was great. I was able to drive the car for free, essentially. I also purchased a convertible, but it's not the convertible that you're thinking. That convertible is 1995. It's a Mazda. But the intent for that was for me to feel the road. The intent of that is for me to drive with the wind on my head. I mean, there's no hair. But I enjoy the outdoor. I enjoy feeling the wind, feeling the sun on me as I drive. And the car, I purchased it for $2,500. That was back in 2010. Now it's 2025. So for 15 years, the return on investment in that car is fantastic. Believe me when I say this. It is not worth it to drive cars where you turn head, where people look as you drive by, where people recognize you, the car that you drive. That's speaking from experience. When I used to lease a luxury sport coupe, people I didn't even know recognized what car I drove. And when I drive by, people turn around their head. But all that wealth, all that drive, all that looking nice, all that head turning, that didn't buy me anything. When I get rid of the car, it's gone. All that left me was, at age 32, I had $0 saved for retirement because I spent every dime that I made. I was too busy looking good. I was too busy driving the wealth that I didn't have. Now if you ask me, all the cars that I purchased, where it's used, reliable, economical, and it served the purpose, our needs, it may not turn head, but what it has done is grow our wealth. But what it has done is buy us freedom. And that freedom, that peace of mind, is priceless. My challenge for you is to look at your current vehicles and ask yourself, were they purchased based on the intended use? Or were they purchased to show class, to show wealth? If you do that, and you're honest with yourself, you should be driving different cars, different vehicles. And the car payment that you have, is it worth it? Where you spent over a third of your life working, but you spent all that away for that car payment. If you want to achieve financial freedom, then you need to free yourself from unnecessary car payments. You need to get the vehicle that is economical and safe. Get cars that have high MPG, miles per gallon. Get cars that are reliable. Take it from point A to point B. The money you save on no car payments, lower insurance costs, little to no repairs, those sums of money can stack up and be a great wealth generator for you for years to come. It is worth it.